Trae Young. Tatum the rebound. Past Hunter and the finish. What a sequence for the Celtics in the last 60 seconds.
And 2 of his team-high 34 points for Jayson Tatum right there as the Celtics get the win, 134-125. Tom Giles, Eddie House, it is Celtics post-game live. All right, so here we go. You start the 6-game road trip. Celtics get a win in their first one against Atlanta. And by the way, we are going to get to Marcus Smart and Trae Young and that situation coming up later in the show. But this was a big win, Eddie. They got out in front and were able to hang on to it and get that first win in this trip.
Yeah, they took care of business tonight. You wanted to come out, pick up where you left off against Portland. And I think they did that. I think offensively they shared the basketball. They moved the ball around. They got great shots, passed up good shots to get great shots, and they defended as well. I thought in that first quarter they kind of didn't defend the way that they should have been to me coming out the gate. But then in that second quarter they really locked down and they moved the basketball. That's the great brand of basketball tonight that they played. A little bit of slippage here and there, but for the most part, they got the game handled, and, guys was out there balling out.
Well, I thought the biggest thing, too, was when the game started to get tight there in the last couple of minutes, they executed. They made the plays they had to hang on and get a 9-point win. Meanwhile, I'll send it back out to Atlanta as we got Chris Forsberg standing by with Jayson Tatum.
Jayson, what does it say about you guys to be able to close out a close game like that?
Feel good. Wild finish, but, good way to start the road trip, right? First one out the way. Everybody contributed. I'm just glad we figured out a way to win, right? Prior to this, we done lost a couple games like that, but, we stuck with it.
How do you get guys composed? Obviously, a little dust up there with Smart. How do you make sure everyone stays focused in that moment?
Just know we realize we got a game to win at that moment. That's all. Keep our composure after that and figure out the rest.
Al's now, I think, close to the league lead in three-point percentage. He had a huge block down here. How nice is it for him just to see what he's doing at this age?
Al make big plays, big moments, and that's why we got him.
What about you're now climbing the – I think you're number 1 in total scoring in the NBA. Does that matter to you?
The only thing that matters to me is winning a championship, not MVP, first team All-NBA, none of that. I want to get back to the finals and get over that hump.
And which edition of the shoes was it tonight?
These are watches. I like watches. Shout out to my watch collection.
I'm telling you, every night you got a new one.
That's what I'm trying to.
All right, congratulations, Jayson.
All right, so Jayson Tatum again with 34 points. He also had 15 rebounds, 6 assists. We were talking, Eddie, before we came on. It felt like it was effortless tonight for Jayson Tatum to put up those kinds of numbers. It wasn't like a grind in any sort of way. He mostly let the game come to him. And I mean, he had 12 points. It felt like in a flash right off the bat. But pretty easy for him to put up those numbers nowadays, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like he's a walking 30 ball. Night in and night out, he's right there knocking on 30 or he's getting 30. And it was one of those games where it wasn't like a loud 34 that he got where you like, man, he was out there really, really killing. It was because it was efficient. He took his time with stuff. He mixed it up mid-range. He ended up getting to the basket, knocked down threes. And I just thought they played with a good pace. He was part of it. He helped control the pace. I think defensively helped them as well offensively, but just a great overall game. I mean, 34 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. To say the least, he was out there.
And he also had a couple of huge buckets as far as closing this game out, which Chris Forsberg just talked to him about right there, and again, the Celtics pick up their 47th win because they were able to close this one out. Let's also go back to, with a few minutes to go there in the fourth quarter, when things got a little testy here. You had Trae Young and Marcus Smart going back and forth. And for what it's worth, Trae Young had a game-high 35 points in this one. 35 points, 13 assists. He can play. So how would you describe that? Because some people, is it a scuffle? There's all kinds of different words. But what did you think of what happened between Trae Young and Marcus Smart that led to Marcus Smart being ejected?
Well, I think what happened, Marcus took exception to Trae Young's foot hitting him down below the belt, and I don't think that was a malicious act. That's kind of hard to do. No, I mean, it's kind of hard to be like kind of focused on where my kick is going to be while I'm laying it up, like to really put it right there.
Yeah.
You had to take a look back, and you could see that he didn't. But I think that's the reason why he got injected. Now, there was a brush up, I don't even call that a scuffle. It was just a brush up where they just came together. They were talking, and then everybody else came. Have you seen what happened right here is just people coming in, and then the momentum of Marcus going this way. I'm not sure if he tripped over somebody and just took him down, but once you take somebody down like that, you're definitely asking to get ejected. And I don't know what the league is going to do moving forward, but that was nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, this game was close, so who knows if it did anything to kind of mess with Trae Young and his flow within the game, but certainly add some fireworks to the end of things. Let's bring in Scal now from down in Atlanta. And Scal, what did you think of the closing moments there, and in particular that play? I know you talked about it extensively on the broadcast, and you had plenty of time to do that, but any other thoughts on it?
No, you know what? I'm actually curious if Smart went back and watched, what would Smart think of that play? You know, like, everybody's different. Like, I saw it, I say, I don't think he could do that. Wasn't malicious. I don't think he did it on purpose. Maybe Eddie kind of said the same thing. I wonder if Smart thinks that. And then secondly, will Smart be suspended in Houston? So those are the only two things I have. I mean, we got a chance to talk about it. We saw it. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but there could be some consequences of this.
All right. Meanwhile, the Celtics able to close this game out. What did you think of the way they were able to close out the fourth quarter outside of that play, and Jayson Tatum in particular?
It's a good matchup for us. Like, we space the floor well. We get a bunch of threes. I think Atlanta kind of overreacts to dribble penetration, sending three to the ball sometimes. I just thought we had a great floor game today. Picked our chances to run. We didn't have our lulls. You know, we had some, but not a lot. So I just great game across the board. I'm really impressed by the 35 assists on the night by the Celtics. It just looked like they were playing such good basketball, and it was easy for them.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to echo what you were saying as far as the ball movement and, you know, Atlanta not being able to stay in front. And you said that they were overreacting. But I don't think they were overreacting. I think they were just getting beat off the dribble, and then the help would come, then another pass, and then we were driving it. That's what I loved about it. I loved our paint touches because I feel that we're at our best when we are playing that brand of basketball. When we're moving the ball, we're getting paint touches, and then we spray the ball out to the three-point line, and we have opportunities to take open threes. And what I loved about tonight, right, the threes we got were passing up good shots. There was one that Al Horford had in the corner, and Jayson Tatum missed this three, though. Al Horford got a shot after a Jaylen Brown paint penetration, kicked it to the corner. Al could have took it, but Al kicked it to Jayson Tatum. The ball kind of rolled in and out. You probably could remember that play. And to me, those are the threes that I like. Now, I don't like when they come down and ISO, one-on-one, dribble, then pull up for three, or just one pass and quick shot. I do like when we work our offense. I think that's our identity offensively, is working the offense and moving the ball.
Yeah, and there was another play, too, where Marcus Smart passed up on the three, fake like he was shooting, and hit Jayson Tatum down low with the layup. I mean, Scotty brought up the 35 assists, and it kind of felt offensively like what you were seeing when the Celtics are playing at their best.
Yeah, I mean, that's a combination of Atlanta being so bad defensively as well. I mean, if they played Atlanta every night, we would never talk about dribble, step back. Some teams, they could guard you one-on-one, like Eddie said. Like, some teams don't react and don't get put in rotation. Atlanta just can't guard anybody. So, yeah, it's great. Like, tonight, they played exactly how they were supposed to play to win this game. I'm sure it's going to be like that in Houston. And then you go into Minnesota, and it's a different animal because they got Gobert back there. So every game has a different life. All I could say about this game is they did exactly what they were supposed to do for as close to 48 minutes as I've seen. You know, I mean, top 5 game for Celtics offensively as far as just playing at the pace and the style that they need to play.
All right, and again, you know, it's tough to win on the road, but doing that, you come out with a victory and you get the first win here on the 6-game road trip. All right, meanwhile, let's take a look at the DraftKings Sportsbook. And we mentioned that before the game, the Celtics were favored by 5. Maybe you saw 5.5, even 4.5. They win this game by 9 tonight, get the victory over Atlanta in what was a high-scoring game in this one, Scal. And I think that just goes back to the way Atlanta plays, where Celtics offensively were good, but also getting some easy buckets.
So I really overreacted to Quinn Snyder taking over as coach. Think about it. I thought, you know, historically, when he had Rudy Gobert, they were really good defensively. So I give him a lot of credit for that because he was the guy that sort of made that whole thing happen. But this team just doesn't have the same bodies, or maybe like Clint Capella and Okongwu are not Rudy Gobert, or Al Horford knocking down all those threes and stretching the floor makes it really tough for their shot blocking. So today it felt like the Celtics got anything they wanted. I took the under on that, thinking that, okay, well, if you look at this game, Atlanta's going to be better defensively than we think. Not the case. Celtics too good, so it was a high-scoring game when I was sort of predicting a low-scoring game.